Well, in their visit here, Miss Hill brought across an owl from Scotland that had been roadkill. Remember, these are roadkill. We would never hurt an owl or a wild animal like this for any other purpose. But it seems a shame to lose the beauty of this creature, so we're going to mount it. And you'll see another one I've already done up here, which was done much earlier. There's one that was a roadkill in France, in fact. So I'm going to turn this one into a mount that's in the opposite direction to the tawny owl I did previously. This one here, which I'm quite pleased with. And I want it to be the other way round, coming down at us from left to right rather than right to left. The first thing I've got to be aware of, even before starting off, is you can see some blood here when the owl's been melting out, and it's just by chance I'm going to do it today. I wasn't sure when I was going to do this one. When it's been melting out, obviously it's been hit on the head hard, or it's flown into a car. Blood was coming out here around the beak, and we need to keep that off the lovely white feathers. You don't want to stain them. So I've already been cleaning that up. A box of goodies here, and only the basics I'm going to require. I've got to cut a branch yet to mount it onto. That's got to be done beforehand ready. Some sets of eyes. There are 2 pairs of eyes here. Buy them in pairs. Sodium borate, borax, 3 mules washing soda in America if you can't get it. Some fishing line or twine, and a good sturdy needle. Some fiberglass wool. The new sorts are not itchy, they're not so dangerous. The old-fashioned sorts were much more dangerous and itchy. These new wools you can just pull apart with your fingers, no worry. Some heavy-duty wire, and I've got various other wires here if I require them. Small eyes and so on here, as you can see. A pair of pliers, pair of scissors, scalpel. Shan't need much more than that. Not going to be needing formaldehyde or anything like that for this one. Obviously some clean tissues for later. And we've got our basics there. It's all we're really going to need to do a simple bird like this. So here's my branch I've just chosen, and I find a little table vise like this very useful for mounting it up later, so that's at the very end of the whole thing. Let's now make a start on skinning the actual dead animal. I've got a block of blue styrene foam here as well, which I'll cut the body just to mimic the same shape as the body of the owl when I remove it. The first thing we need to do is to remove the owl from the exterior. We're not going to make any mess or any smell, it's just simply removing the skin. So we find the breastbone, which is here, pull the feathers back. The hardest part is actually pulling the skin over from the head over the neck, because over the skull, because the head is so large in an owl. So there's the skin, we can see it there, look. Just nick the skin, be so careful, it's not a very heavy skin, we don't want to tear it more than we need. We're not going to go into the inside of the owl at all, just nick the skin and peel the skin apart here. If you're using your fingernails, just pull it apart and work your way downwards. You can use the knife if you wish, but we should be able to just use our fingernails because the skin is so thin. So very gently, it's going to be quite a delicate job this. Peel it back, and we will start using the borax in just a moment. We use the borax to help ease it away from the body, and it also preserves it at the same time. So here we go, then right up and along the neck now, as I'm doing there now. Get your fingers underneath, your fingernail underneath as soon as you can, and as soon as you can we'll start getting borax into this. Gently pulling away, right down to here. Now I take some borax and start to add that. Doesn't matter how much you get on, it'll brush off later. Again around this side the same, pull it away, get around these pockets, right down around, down to the wing. Keep putting borax in. Watch out for any mess, we don't want to get any staining on the feathers, I don't want to be washing this bird. Shouldn't have to wash it if I keep myself clean here. We shouldn't spend too long on doing a mount. We've got to prepare beforehand, have everything ready. Don't want to be going away, having to get parts part way through. Now, if things do go wrong, you can completely skin it and put the skin back into the freezer. It's not great, but it will be fine. You can do this with any animal that you've done. If you skin it at the time, you can put it into the freezer and do it all later. So right down now to that knee joint. Don't need to go beyond the knee joint, just down to there, and at the knee joint I'm going to use my heavy duty scissors and snip that off. Again, don't cut the wrong bit, break the bone, snip, and it's as quick as that. Put in some borax into that joint and pull that back through like a sock over a foot. Now to this side, on the other leg, and again we bring that out without tearing it. We don't want to make holes. Now all I've got to do is go right around the bird until my fingers meet each way underneath it. Try and keep the feathers clean. Plenty of time just pushing around the back of the bird here. You can see I've got both legs out there now, and I'm going to reach around the back here, look. There we are, my fingers are just meeting here now. You can see there I've come through, look. More borax in here, can't have enough borax. Right up the top of the owl there, bringing it right down to the tail. And this is where I've got to do some careful skinning, because I want to keep the tail intact and just cut away at the parson's nose here. Not too much meat at all, just want to get everything off there carefully, just so it's held together. You can scrape this in a minute more cleanly. Right up and round there. And then finally, just one little snip with the scissors, and voila! Remove any meat straight away. If there is any we don't want. Ouch. Off here. Where the glands are, the oil glands as well, so we don't want any of that in there. We've got to remove all of this. Now I've got to work my way up to the wings, so that the body's away there, look now. See, the tail's away and the body's away. Work my way up, carefully up here. And the same thing around the wings. Keep putting that borax in, can't have enough borax. You can have that in your heads by the time I've finished. You don't need to use other chemicals. This is a simple way, and please don't write to me saying, can we use washing powder, ordinary washing powder, can we use salt, This is the way I'm showing you. This is the way to do it. This is a simple way. It works. I've used this 30 years ago and still got mounts that look perfectly alright from this way. If you want to do it other ways, there are other chemicals, of course you can buy other stuff. There are many other ways you can do things, as with painting. But this way is how I'm showing you. Simple borax, so don't write to me saying, can we use salt? Go and get some washing soda. Don't be lazy and make me write letters to you explaining things that I've already done. Here we are then, getting the wing out here. Now this is a bit more time consuming, we'll be a little bit more careful here. It's got to come right away up to the neck here without tearing it. There we go, without tearing the neck. You can see where it's coming away from the neck here now, look. There we go, look. Put your borax, can't have enough borax. Right up, this is going to be the most difficult part when it goes over the head, but let's get this bit done out of the way first. Right up to the joint of the wing here. Now some people will just stop there. I like to go a little bit further if possible, just work my way over that. If I can, I want to push it just over that wing joint here before I snip off. Let's go further. Use your fingernails to pull around here, look. You don't want to leave any areas on the bird where there is meat. So I'm going to pull this right down across the, if you like, the forearm now. We've got the biceps done here. I'm coming right down this bit of wing. Again, you can't have enough borax, plenty on there, get hold of it, get it preserved. Keep using your fingernail to push down. If you bite your nails, you've got a problem. And you can see how that's happening there, look. Right down here. We've done this sort of thing before. Now this works for any bird, however big it is, this technique will work. Whether you've got a dead eagle, a dead swan, whatever. Just be careful of your regional laws. Some places in America I know you're not allowed to have them at all, even if they're roadkills. You've got to go and get permissions or whatever. In France or in England it's not quite the same. Just make sure that the bird hasn't been killed illegally, which should be a bad thing anyway. Not many gamekeepers are killing birds of prey now. They get the odd rogue here and there, as you will in any community, but most of us enjoy nature, and we don't want to. We want to preserve and make everything enhance everything, not make it worse. We do a lot of work in the country setting up feeders and looking after the wildlife and looking after the environment. The last thing we want to do is harm the wildlife around us. Right, now on to the other wing. That one's done. We pull it back through again. Right, I've got right to the end there now. Again, before I do anything else, put lots of borax in there, because I'm going to fold it back in a moment. Break the bone and put more borax in and pull back through. There we are. All I've got left to do now is the head. Put the bird out of the way, out of the mess. Don't get mess on the bird. There we are, the whole body's out. That wasn't too difficult, was it? Now this is the hard part though, because we've got to bring this skin over that huge bulbous skull, and that is not easy. And we're just reaching the head now, look. So I'm just starting to peel this skin back around the skull. And now you can see the skull just starting here. Once it comes over, once it eventually gets there, it's like pulling a sock over a foot. Once we get that far, it will come away. But I want to get it right down to the beak. I've got to get it away from the eyes here. There we are, look, there's the beginning of the beak coming now. We can just start to see. Don't want to damage the eyelid. See the eye socket there, now the eye hole. And we can pull this away from here carefully, just prising that gently away with the scalpel until it comes away down to the beak there, because we're going to need this clear to take the eye out in a moment. Seems a bit gory, but it's no worse than children dissecting a frog in a chemistry lab. Right down to the eye there, again the same, pulling it away. May not even need to use the scalpel on that one there. Now, we need to keep the skull. We need to keep all of that, the rest of that bird to model from. I've got the bit that's going to be messy out of the way. I need to cut off the back of the head here. And I'm going to cut out all of the inside of where the tongue is and everything else. If I just cut round the back first of all, right underneath here, I should be able to lift out the whole thing. Just chop through the neck bone close in there. There we go. And the whole tongue should come out in one go if I slice along here, which I don't want to keep in. Along here the same. So if you're watching this film and you don't like it, don't continue watching. I've already written on here, this is a taxidermy film, please do not watch if you're sensitive to this material. Again, I get tired of people who complain when they've been warned that this might not be to their taste, and I can understand it. It's a difficult thing to watch if you're very sensitive and not used to doing your own meat or hunting or shooting. Now we need to remove the inside of this area at the back of the skull and the eyes. So let's start with the back of this area here. I may need to use a slightly larger scalpel for this in a minute. And anything else that's in there. There we go. I'm going to use my scissors just to snip in and around this bit here. There we go. Pull that out of the way, and instantly we should be able to start removing the gunk out of here. You can see there, look. There's the grey matter we're talking about, the brains. All of that has to come out. And this is where we can use a pair of tweezers as well, to use some wool or tissue to get all of this stuff out as well. This is what was making such a mess as it bled through the beak earlier on, so I want all of this out. That's it. That's now clear. Let's remove that mess out of the way. You don't want to be seeing that. Don't have to put anybody off. And I'll get a pair of tweezers. Take some of the tweezers and a pair of the tweezers and some of the paper towel or tissue and clean out inside there right the way through. We've removed all the meat now and brain, and fresh into there, borax, and now the eyes. Find the eye socket, just cut around the outside of the eye socket, just cut the skin around the outside of the eye. And it's not going to be as hard as you might think to do this. We're not piercing the eye at all. Get the tweezers, go inside, go around the outside of the eye, just come in and lift the whole thing out in one go like that. Straight away, clean, borax straight into there, plenty of borax. Now the other side the same, and you can see we're clean right through there now. More borax, and immediately now I'm going to take some fiberglass wool and fill this head straight away. I'm going to push into the eye cavity here, make sure there's plenty, well pushed into the eye cavity, and the inside of the skull as well, very important. Fill that all up. You've already put borax in there. It's actually put the eyes into place. Here we have 2 pairs of glass eyes. Because they're quite difficult to get in sometimes, our owl's eyes being so big. And I want to cut them off at about 1/4 inch, half inch in this case, off the wire. There we go, half inch, black glass eyes. Save that wire for something else later, I'm sure. And in the eye cavity there now, push in the eye like that, right in. You can see how now the padding is assisting to hold it from going too far. Right into the centre, make sure that the wire's straight. And now we've got to start feeding that back over. And this is the hard part. We do not want to tear this head. We've got to get this to come back through. There's the beak there, look. So I'm going to feed this back over, and this is not easy, but it's so easy to tear the head at this stage. Equally awkward with some ducks. Teal, for instance, very difficult because they've got such thin necks. Very delicate, I found. The first thing I'm going to do is use borax on that mucky area where that juice and blood has all come out to clean up. You can see how filthy that borax is as it comes out of there now. Nothing to do with field sports, nothing to do with anti-field sports, nothing to do with that at all, nothing to do with even hunting. It's just a dead bit of skin on the road, spirit gone, life gone, and we're going to probably bring some of that back again. That's it. Don't think we're going to get it much cleaner than that. Let's open the bird up and just make sure there's plenty of borax inside before we continue. Right, the next stage is to make a body for the bird. And we've got a block here and the bird here. Take my Opal knife out now. So just sharpened up, so be careful I don't cut myself. And we need to cut. See, there's not much to an owl, is there? When you look at them, they're very small actually. I mean, there's the neck and we need to cut this shape out of here. And it's not going to take much actually. I can take a big slice off this. It's wider at this end. So in fact my shape is this. Quite small. So that's the shape I want. I've got to do the same the other way, get it even. The breast is going from the bone middle outwards like this. Most of it with a knife, just by slicing. You do need the styrene foam though, it's better than polystyrene. Polystyrene tends to flake so much more, it's not quite so easy to use. Just want to round off the edges at the back where the tail comes. Then we'll look at the other side. Goes inwards more here where the wings are going to come. Right, I've now sanded that block into shape. Smooth the edges around. And it's time to start cutting the wires to put inside the bird's wings and legs and through to the head. We've also got a cut for the tail as well. So let's take our heavy duty wire here. about a 16th. Now, for the wings, we need a piece that will go right through the wing and out at this end, so about that long at least before it even hits the plastic, and about this long to go through the plastic, so quite long. So one legs, then we need the head, so the length of the neck and through the body, it goes right at the top of the head and through the body here. Don't like that kink in it there, so we'll get rid of that. That's not a good idea, it doesn't help us when we're pushing it through. Let's straighten that out good. So through the head and through the body, go into the body. And the tail, just want a wedge shape. It's going to go right into to hold the tail up in position. So I want something like this. Coming right back in on itself to help spread the tail feathers out. We want to put them into position. There we go. I don't make many taxidermy films now, as I say, it's not really a thing I do a lot. I enjoy it to a degree occasionally, but it's not something I want to do for a living. Happy with my painting. Right, next we have to push these wires through after we use the knitting needle to push in and pad out both the legs and the wing where we've taken the meat out. We're not going to put it around the wire, so little bits of this, and we need to push this down, right down inside the cavity of the legs. A young lad wrote to me a few months ago about one of the old films I did of the barn owl. Oh, you cruel person, I love owls. Well, yes, I love owls. It's not cruel to do this. Animals dead, for heaven's sake. And that person in our stick making saying a deer died for this. Deer's antlers fall off annually every year. Some people are so ignorant. If we're going to make derogatory remarks about somebody else, make sure your facts are right first. No animal was harmed in doing this, it was already dead. There, that's it. You can see it fattening out there, look. And as I say, pack it in fairly tight if you can. You don't want them loose and going floppy later. You don't want to overdo it or it looks stuffed. Takes out of shape, but just enough in there to really pad those wings out. Well on the way with this mount now. The wing isn't twisted. Pick it up, find the socket. And this is the hard bit, the very first bit. We've got to get stuff right down to the bottom, that's the point. Shame about the blood coming out onto it, but other than that we seem to be doing alright. Look. Might take more padding than you at first think, especially if you're going to have the wings open. Right, so that bird, you can see how stiff the wings are now, they've totally changed. And the next job is to make the neck. So the neck comes up from here. So I'm going to go right through the body at the other side, and I'm going to make a hook. I'm going to make a hook and pull that hook back up and inside here. Right inside there. Now the length of the neck was about that. I could have kept the body here, but didn't bother. Not to be that long anyway. Just put some of this wool around here, twist it all around to make the neck, and we'll take some ordinary knitting wool now and just wrap that, not too tightly around here, just round itself so it stays there. Like that, round and round, like that, you can see. So next we need to put the wires through the bird, and this is a bit more awkward. Let's start with the wings, 2 longer pieces. Make sure that you've got a point on the end of your wire. It's a little bit sharper. And this is not so easy. We've got to start right from the top of the wing here, because we're going to actually have this bird in flight, and I've got to go down inside in between the skin and the feathers, like this, without it coming out again. Right down through here, bend the wing again if you have to get the wire to go through, all the way down inside. You can feel it coming through here. The hardest part is just on the joint usually, where the bone finishes. That's it. But it's come out. It hasn't. Yes, it has. Just almost coming out of the feathers there, so be careful just there. Come back a bit. Just go through there again. Make sure that you stay inside that cavity. It's now going in and through the fiberglass all the way down here. There we go. I can feel it coming through the fiberglass. I'm going to shorten it a bit to do that. Keep it inside. Don't come out through the skin, whatever you do. Keep it going along here, down through that fiberglass, all the way inside that wing. There we go. Until you come out of the padding at the end here. Now there we go. I've got hold of it, so now I can pull the wing up it. That's what I want to do. Pull that wing right up there. And I'm going to bend a hook over here just to stop it from coming off, and it's going to help me control the wing later. Right up to there. I want that wing stretched right out. One like that. Now the next one. Right up to there, and there's our cross pieces of wire there. Bring that round this way. We've got to do the legs next. Heads up here. That's better. See where things are. Keep them tidy all the time, when you are. Now the legs can be difficult. It's quite hard to push them up through that first bit of the leg. So again, make sure you've got a point on your... That one hasn't really, so I'll make another one. That's it. Should be sharp enough. We've got to go in at the ball of the foot here. Shouldn't have to drill it. Right up inside the leg. This is why I want it fairly straight. Feel inside the leg there. So it's not as easy as it looks, this bit. Right up to the joint, and this is the hard part here, where you've got to get it through there. And again, right up inside the padding, pushing through that padding until you come out of that far end of the padding, not through the skin. Remember, be careful you don't come through the skin. And slide the leg up. Now if we're going to put this into a base, we'd need to leave, put the padding pushed out there, we would need to leave enough here to go through the branch or whatever we're putting it onto, but we're not going to in this case. I want to have these legs just coming out inside now. Going to come right out at the end here, and so you can see it all, I hope. And we need to put this way through the back of the bird's skull. So I've got to go inside here now, find the entrance to the neck until I feel it coming right up inside the back of the bird's skull, where I put all that fiberglass padding earlier, and I want to come through central top, somewhere here like this. That's it, through the back of the skull like that. That neck has got to be fed right up inside there now, like this. There we go. The bird skull comes down onto the neck, and there we go. We've got bits of wire everywhere for a minute. This is the wing here. Take that one, come up through here, and push where the wing would joint here, right up and through, if we can go. There we go, right up and through, and again, same as you did before, make the loop quite a big loop, bend it right back on itself, and go back into the bird. Make sure that they're right in there, pulled in. Now the other side, push it right in, side there, that's it. Of course things are getting a bit tight on the skin now and bringing these wires around. Go in here at the back, again the same place but the opposite side, push that wire through, make the loop, and we pull the loop in to the leg. There we go. Pushing it right in if we can, that's it, getting it out of the way. Then we can bring that one down and forward in the same way. And look, our bird is already coming into shape. You see what I mean here, look. Coming into shape. So that bird's coming all around that body now. There we go, pull it tighter over there. And that head down a little bit more, that's it, that's fine. The skin's just folding around, nicely fitting. We can put a bit more padding if we want to, but I don't think we're going to need to. I must find this skin to bring around. That's it, that's the tail there. Look, now we've got it. And the leg's just apart a bit more to see what I'm doing. Bring the tail around here. There's the vent of the tail. Now I should, with a bit of luck and skill, be able to push this tail into here, into there, and it should then hold the whole thing in place nicely. I'll just fluff that over that in a minute. Don't need too much, but I don't want it to show, that's the trouble. Right, now it's time to sew this thing up, because we're well on the way. The hard work has been done. I usually use fishing line, but I'm going to use this heavier thread today. I happen to have it handy. Don't need that much, there should be plenty enough. I'm going to do what's called a locking stitch. So we go through and round and back again. And we will go starting at the top here and start stitching. So through, back to the other side after we've tightened. Don't get all the feathers tangled up in it if you can help it. Make sure they come clear. And the opposite side. And what I said with the locking stitch, what we do now is, as I come through here, I put the cable over the cotton over the loop, and I tighten up to that. So back to this side again, and once again we go through the locking stitch. And I'm afraid it's no good requesting that I do certain animals for you, because I just don't do enough of it. These animals come to me by accident, and you know, the techniques are the same for other birds anyway, so I don't really need to go into showing you how to do other ducks. And we're down to the very last couple of, hopefully, stitches. Just there. Go back into my little box of tricks. And we're at the stage now, ready for setting the actual bird up. See here, we're just starting to get the right shape for the arm. I want it coming down in this direction. Right, I've set up this to go against the railings next to the other owl. One screw to go through here, and a smaller one to go through down there. So this is a long one to go right through here, and a smaller one to go through this one. So what I've got to do is set this owl up somehow. I think there. So let's see if I can get these legs so that they'll go onto here and just drop down. We'll put one hole here. change the position at the moment, that's the point, you see. Just please drill these holes right through and then just change the positions to suit as we want. It's going to be coming down at us. You can see how we're going to start to set it up. Well, that's about how I want it set up. I may twist it slightly more yet so that it comes round a bit more. Well, what you may not have seen me do the other day when I was finishing off was putting some wires just underneath. I pulled one out, but you can card the wings by putting card each side and paper clips or pins to keep the feathers in shape. In this case, because I'd stuffed it carefully and made the wire correct when I started off, I didn't need to do too much, but I have put wires underneath just to support them temporarily. And you just push the wire right in through the body, it's as easy as that. So what I've got to do now is just pull those wires out, and this has been drying just long enough now for that to support itself. And it'll be fine, I just pull that out through the bird, and then you see we'll stay in position now. I want to give it a bit longer yet. You want to leave it a good 2 weeks before you remove supports really. And we could wrap wool around this to make the feathers smoother and tighter if we wanted to, but again I don't need to for my job on this one. It's getting nice and tidy at the end. Now, we've then got the wire at the head here to snip off, so go right down to the skull and just clip it off close to the skull like that. And there we are. Can't see it at all. And then the wings themselves, we had these pieces that were coming around underneath here, and again those want clipping off tight into the wing. Whole thing's dry enough now to clip them out, and that'll stay in place. Look. Take the wires off under the feet here as well, which we bent around earlier. You can cut those off a little, don't cut them too close, just about 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 an inch away, so that you can just bend over the wire and push it into the wood underneath there. Tap it in, and there's our bird, almost ready to put up on the wall now. So there we are. The next time you see it, it'll be up next to the other one, the tawny owl. And we can see how it looks in situ. Well, I've now got the barn owl up, as you see here. We've got the tawny owl across one side and then across the other barn owl, which I think in that pose looks quite nice.